Hello, Rebels. Welcome to the Sherpa Screening Room. My guest today is a writer, director, and actress who is actually starring in her own movie, which has a little bit of a scary history behind it. It's called Heir of the Witch. She has returned just to be here from her whirlwind European vacation. Victoriabell, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Thank you.
So now you said that all of your family is scattered throughout Europe. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Republic of Moldova. It's this tiny little country that's from Eastern Europe, and it's very next to Ukraine. But my family all moved to Germany. So most of my siblings are in Germany, and I go between Moldova and Germany when I go back home.
Okay, so they're all safe over there with everything that is going on over there.
I hope so. Yes. I mean, I check on them regularly, but it's kind of become a common thing now that, the war is next door, but life goes on as usual in Moldova, and hopefully it stays safe, everyone.
Yes, I hope they all stay safe as well. Now, were you into acting when you were growing up in Moldova, or?
No, I wasn't. I didn't get into acting all the way until about, God, it's been 10 years now. Time got by so fast, but I always had a passion for acting. I remember going to this theater and watching a play when I was younger, and I was just mesmerized watching everyone. Just a beautiful play, and everyone played their role very well. And I just was so impressed. And it was always my dream to be an actress.
Mm-hmm.
Thought is just such a dream that I cannot reach it. That it's not that I didn't feel worthy enough, or such a beautiful dream that it's magic, that it's art. And only later on in life, when I found myself in a place of soul searching, when I said, what is making Victoria happy? And I've always wanted to get into acting. And that's when I started a Meisner class, and it was a beginner's class. And here I am. Now I'm fully into this, and I bit the poison that I can't let go now. I'm just so in love with this art and filmmaking that I want to do this for the rest of my life, and I can't imagine doing anything else.
Yeah, and really, I mean, this is your first big movie, I would presume. So
yes, now I have done several short films. I've done a dozen short films before this. We started pashaentertainment in 2017, and I just always felt I had so many stories to create and tell to the world. And why not share my inner, deeper thoughts and fears and worries and stories, to impact the world, to inspire them. And I started writing short films, and I would put together a team, and I would just hire a DP, and I would work as the director and the producer and actor. And it was always so much fun and get so much adrenaline from it that I eventually said, I need to make a feature film. This is too beautiful not to create a film.
And you really went above and beyond acting, being that you also wrote and directed it.
Yes, I do not recommend it. I do not recommend doing everything on set. It's really a lot of work. But I found myself in a delicate situation because it was COVID. We were right in the middle of COVID, and I had to take on more responsibility than, I was looking for maybe actors of bigger names, or I was looking for potentially finding a director with a name. But, when you have your first feature film, everyone is looking for experience. But where do you get your experience until you make your first feature film?
That's right.
So I said, you know what, I'm going to be the producer and the director. Well, producing just kind of comes naturally because you have to be involved in every department, help everyone move along. So the producing just kind of come in naturally. But the directing part, because I wrote the story and I was so deeply involved in it, this story, I just breathed it and thought of it and wrote it for months. And every single day I became Anna. I just breathed her air in her lungs. I felt it. So at this point, I said, I have to direct it. This is just so deep in my bones that I have to direct it. And I'm glad I did it because it was a lot of work. But it was a lot of work. I still feel like I'm recovering for no sleep for months.
But this is really a labor of love because even though it's considered a horror movie, it still actually ties into a part of your life, right?
Yeah, so it was inspired from true events or true facts from my family side. On my father's side, my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, was a witch, and I hid this part of my family all my life because I grew up in a Christian family, and that was the biggest shame to have someone in your family that it is in witchcraft. And I grew up with nightmares. I grew up fearing that part of me. I grew up having deep fear and feeling that energy that was very different than any other energies. And when I got to a point to write, because I had to, so when I started the movie, first I wanted to do a thriller movie, and it was a high budget. It was a $5 million movie. And I said, you know, I can't afford to be that my first movie. I have to go with a low budget movie. What are low budget movies? Horror films or maybe drama. But I thought, you know, a horror movie is going to make a bigger impact. And where do I go to horror? I go in the fear, in the place where it hurts the most. And I went back to my family, to the roots, and I uncovered the wound or the pain or the shame that I hid it for so many years. And I said, you know what? I'm going to write where it hurts the most. I'm going to tell the world what I'm afraid to tell the world, right? That secret that's been hidden for so many years, that it's been like the family secret, the family shame. My family were very against it. You know, my sister and my siblings were like, why would you do this? And I was like, why not? This is where I find my power to speak about something that I conquered and overcame. And here I am, I can make art about it. And it's a place where I found myself, that I found my own strength by telling that story.
That's ironic. I mean, that, you know, you're creating this movie to kind of get over your own fears as, you know, as a younger woman, where people go to horror movies to kind of say, well, I'm not going to be afraid. And then they get over their fears and doing that way. So it's really kind of accomplishing thing for both creator and the audience.
It is. You know, I found that art can be healing. If you're really honest with yourself as an artist, as a writer, really any part of art, music, filmmaking, if you're really honest and you speak from a place that hurts the most, it's going to relate to other people and it's going to move another person. It's not going to relate to everyone, but there will be those ones that will be correlating to your pain and understand you deeply. And it's our duty to be so honest to our core, to tell the truth as we feel it and as we fear it, as we are afraid and scared and terrified. Show those deepest parts of you. Be vulnerable with your audience and tell them everything. And that's how you are a true artist, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, even when you think about it, a lot of music is like that too. A lot of people can really remember sad songs because they know about heartbreak. You know, a happy song becomes kind of forgettable after a while, but a sad song is like, oh, I remember that this song was playing when we broke up, and you know, it just brings back so many horrible memories. And so, yeah, there is something that speaks to the human emotion.
Yeah, so we're human. We have to allow ourselves to be human, allow ourselves to be afraid, to be ashamed, to be scared, and to be happy, proud. All those emotions are allowed in our hearts and therefore should be allowed in our work, in our art, in our films. And for the longest part, I thought that I'll never write a horror film, nor will I, you know, entertain an idea about that. But why not? It's all life. It's a full spectrum of events and feelings, and it's our duty to show them and correlate them with to the audience and everyone else who's willing to come to watch the movie.
I do have to say, I was sent a trailer of Heir of the Witch, and it is one scary movie.
It is. Well, we tried to follow a story, right? To kind of tell the story without telling the story, and it's I don't think it's as scary as it could be. We could have put a lot more, and we took a lot more because the distributor asked us to make sure we don't put, you know, there's certain guidelines we have to follow,
right?
Because it's open to the public, so there's people and families, so it has to be to a certain criteria. and we had to take some blood shots and some other shots out. But I hope it still entices the audience to tell them the story, to give them that quick hook and be like, I want to see this story, because it's not just your plain, simple horror film that it's, I don't want to pick on anyone, but, there's the typical plot that it happened over and over. And we've seen those movies so many times.
Right. The slash and gore movies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I want it to be something that's personal, but also smart and makes you think and gives you breadcrumbs that you go back and watch the movie and catch the breadcrumbs, kind of like the Fight Club. When you look back and like, oh, I see now he was him all the way, but only by knowing at the end and going back and seeing those breadcrumbs do you see it. So I love those type of movies that there's a twist, there's something that you did not expect about it, to kind of like pull the rug under your feet, to be like, oh, here's the new reality. This is something you didn't see, but this is the plot twist. And that's present in the movie. And so it has a bit of a thriller theme, a bit of a psychological thriller in the horror aspect. And we try to keep that even in the trailer.
Were you drawn to that type of movie like when you were growing up? You were a big fan?
I love psychological thrillers. I absolutely love them. And it's my next future film is going to be a psychological thriller. So it's just a higher budget, right? In my opinion, you have to put the right funds for a movie to really show the depth of a story to the caliber that I want to tell. So instead of cutting my story short or making it mediocre story, I'd rather save that to later. Next. But I put in my first efforts into a horror film. There was more of a lower budget that's under $1 million, so I can tell a good story without breaking the bank, so to speak.
Sure. And also, I guess, with a debut movie like that, you're kind of establishing a style, like your own filmmaking style too. So they would know, with your next movie, the kind of stuff that they're going to get, and only on a larger scale.
Right. And I've learned so much in this movie. I'm going to school. I'm taking UCLA classes in directing. I'm completing probably within a year, hopefully, because it's been such a long journey. But once I complete that directing program, it's been very helpful and I've learned a lot. But my God, making this movie has taught me so much more than the school itself, because it was hands-on experience.
Sure.
There were situations that arise out of nowhere that never school would teach me. If we were at 3 a.m. in the morning and we spend hours to set up that shot for the sunrise, and then it rains and we can't do it, then what do you do? Like that quick decision that you have to take as a director, as a producer. No school can teach you that. That's something that you learn hands-on. And I've learned so much in every aspect, right? From like writing to directing to actors to every department. I try to be involved in every department as much as I can to help everyone, but also to learn, so that in the next movie, I'll bring all the knowledge and all the experience, so that I bring the next story to the next level, and with the style that I love, which is more of a twisted and psychological and in a different style than I've seen in horror mostly lately.
I don't know if it's happened yet, but do members of your family, did they see a preview of the movie, or they just saw the trailer? They got to wait too.
They have not. So they have seen the trailer. The day I released it in the States, I was home in Germany with my family.
Okay.
Well, home is Moldova. My home country is Moldova, but my home is USA now. I call this my home. But I was at my sister's house in Germany, and we all went to dinner, and I said, well, you're going to see the trailer on the, online everywhere. So might as well you guys see it now here with me. And we're all sitting on the dinner table, and I put it there for everyone to watch. And I was just waiting and waiting. And I was surprised. My family was all very supportive, and they were all very proud. And, even the parts that they didn't completely agree with about writing about witchcraft and witches and the dark spirits, they still understood the art behind it. They still understood that this is all just a movie, and they supported me, and they were so proud of me, and they were sharing and telling me how proud and that was so beautiful for my heart. I was so happy to just see my family supporting me, because they mean the world to me. I'm very, very close to my family. And even though I'm in the States and they're there, I go home at least once or twice a year, because they mean everything to me. And my youngest niece is here now with me in the States for the summer. And I'm just so happy to have a family member here next to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess they would probably be very supportive too, because I guess they probably see, to your point earlier, that this is you getting out from under that fear from when you found out this story about your grandmother, that it's, now it's just out in the open, and you made a movie about a character who's dealing with it, who's affected by it.
More so than that, I think they understood that part. There was a healing journey for me, but more so than that, it was a beautiful journey of creating, of making movies. So they see me just glowing and blossoming by finally doing something that I love. We go through life doing what we think the right thing, and going to school and getting that degree and paying the bills. And it's just a little spinning wheel that we keep going around. And if we just stop and take a deep breath and say, what is my heart desire? What makes me happy? And that's when I did that 10 years ago, and it was film. And I followed through. I did not know anything. I did not know nothing about filmmaking, but I figured it out on the way. I learned, I researched, every single day I invested in my future as a filmmaker, as a writer, as an actor. Mm-hmm. I take classes all the time. I never stop taking classes year round. Either it's in acting and writing, in directing. I'm taking 2 classes now, one in directing, one in writing, all year round. I don't stop, because it's a pleasure for me. It's so beautiful to invest in your soul. It's like watering my soul with the knowledge and the information I need. So for them to see me so happy doing what I love, that conquers everything else. So to them, they were just happy to see me happy.
Yeah, just a picture of someone following her passion.
Exactly. And I think we're all meant to follow our passion and to do what makes us happy. Obviously you have to put in the work. You have to show up for it every day. Mm-hmm. But we're all meant to, we all given a gift, and that gift keeps itching at us, right? I have not listened to my desires for most of my lives, because I chose the safe route, right? I'm going to go in banking, and I'm going to go in work that's going to give me a profit and make me money. And if deep inside I wasn't completely, fully satisfied, and I stopped and I said, you know what? Maybe financially filmmaking is not going to give me the most profits, but in the long run, if I put so much effort in it and show up for it every single day, eventually I will reap the benefits and the rewards of my work. Because this desire was placed in my heart to make movies for a reason. And I am doing myself and the world a disservice if I don't show up for what I've been put on this earth to do. Yeah, I mean, it's been a great journey. And the next movie I want to make, it's a psychological thriller. Mm-hmm. That's going to require a much bigger team, much more involvement, and I'm all for it. I'm also excited to get moving on it.
And you're going to write this one as well, or are you going to?
It's written.
Oh, it's written already. Oh, okay.
It's fully written script, psychological thriller. It is, oh my God, it's one of the movies I would love to go to a theater and watch it. It's like that story that I've been waiting for all my life. That's the type of script I've wrote, and it's twisted and beautiful, and it's just so, it grabs you by the neck and it holds you still until the very end. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And I can't wait to start shooting and start going into pre-production. Mm-hmm. I already did film the teaser for it. So I gathered a team here in Charlotte, and we just filmed the teaser, and we're putting the voiceover, and just to kind of put it as a business along with the business plan when I go into present it to investors. You want to give them a taste, a teaser. What are you going for? The style, the theme, the story. And that's all put together. And I'm just so excited. It looks so good. It looks so good.
Yeah, I can hear that excitement already building up for something that isn't coming out yet. So that sounds really great. You know what? Not to give too much away. Could you let our listeners know what Heir of the Witch is about in kind of like a little nutshell?
Of course. Well, it's the sort of Anna. Anna, she's a seamstress that came from Eastern Europe. She came to USA and she's a seamstress. And she somehow got embedded in the high society. She sews clothes for high-end society. And this is where the web, she got absorbed in. She got hope for love, but all of it is a web that her grandmother witch, who passed away, but her spirit lurks. And her spirit creates a web for Anna that she follows certain steps in order to give her, the grandmother, to give a baby that will accept the gift, the curse, the witchcraft gift, because Anna refused it. And it's all a twisted web, because at the end, nothing that we've seen was what we thought we saw. And the lurking witch is all present throughout. And there's so many other stories within the stories. Mm-hmm. Basically, Anna's story, that she is trapped in the witch's game. Her grandmother's spirit is haunting her and is playing her own game to create this generations of witches to continue the witchcraft gift that she has.
Okay.
And it's there's some very there's moments where you want to close your eyes. There's moments where you're like, oh no, she didn't go there, but I did. You know, I saw it at one point and I said, oh my God, this is just a lot. But at the same time, like, this is a movie. If you're not going to push the boundaries, if you're not going to push the envelope in a movie, then what are you going to do it, right? Like, even life sometimes surprises us. And like, oh my God, I couldn't believe that happened. And then why not movies? Movies should surprise us, should bring us an emotion, some kind of emotion. You can't go to a movie and walk out with nothing. That's the worst feeling. You know, I'd rather somebody go and watch a movie and criticize me and say that it was this and that, or any emotion. Tell me what happened, how it moved you, or how it upset you, or how it did not align with you, or how did you love it? I want to hear the emotion.
Right.
If I did not stir anything in you, then I didn't do my job as a filmmaker.
Right. That's the job of movies, to at least provoke some sort of reaction from the audience. If they just sit there and you go, yeah, okay, then
yeah. It was work. It was like, man, it was all right. Then, oh God, no, that is terrible.
Did you have like a favorite part and a least favorite part of the whole process?
Oh my God, the favorite part, it's hard to choose because there's so many parts that I love. Every single morning I'd wake up with 3-4 hours of sleep, really, because there was no rest in between the days of shooting as a director and actor. But I'd wake up every single morning so excited that I could run a marathon. The excitement and the joy that I had in my heart, and just seeing my team and everybody getting their job done. And we're just a movement. We are a family who are on a mission to make a movie no matter what. Like, around us, the world was collapsing. It was in the middle of the summer of COVID. Now, we all did follow the rules. We all wear our masks. We all checked the temperatures. We all made sure we're in an environment where it's safe for everyone. But it was still that fear, a fear of a world pandemic that you do not know what to expect. Now, looking back, I wish I knew more and be better prepared. But then in the moment, I was terrified. I was scared, but also we had planned this. We scheduled the sets, the locations, the actors, the trips. Everything has been booked. And I asked the team, like, if you're comfortable, only who's comfortable. There were certain people that were not comfortable and they didn't come forward. But 99% of the team, they're like, no, we want to do this. Because it was such a beautiful feeling in our hearts. We're making something magical. When we felt like the whole world is dying, we still revive ourselves by creating magic and art. And that, like, every single moment on set was a favorite moment, you know. And if I were to choose just one, I guess the moment when I called, that's a wrap, you know, this is it. We filmed it all, we captured it. And the end of the filming actually corresponds with the end of the movie. And it is the biggest climax of the movie. And it is a very, very intricate and very hard scene. We had to have a lot of people on set to create that scene. And it was late at night. And it was very uncomfortable for me as an actor. I was up in the air. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. I'm up in the air and it's uncomfortable. And it's 4 a.m. in the morning. And we had to take that scene in multiple angles. And it was hard work on everybody in my team. But when I got it, when I saw what I needed, it was captured and we had it. And when I called, that's a wrap, I think I cried of joy. Like, it was so much labor from all of us. And we finally did it. Least favorite, gosh, I can't think of a least favorite. Maybe when the coffee was cold in that night, you know, when you need more coffee. And like, I don't even know. I can't even say least favorite because literally every moment on set, it's better than anywhere else in the world. For me, as a filmmaker, we would film till late night hours and I'll be so excited. Everybody could be tired. Everybody would be hungry. And I don't get hungry. I don't get tired. I don't think of time. I am so absorbed and immersed in the act, in the art of filmmaking, that at the moment nothing else matters. It's a communion with the art where I become it and I immerse myself. And it's just, I've never felt something like it. And it's absolutely beautiful. And I love it to the point of tears. I have tears in my eyes when I see what we create on set.
That's really great. And, you know, we didn't let anybody know where exactly they can catch Heir of the Witch.
So it will be streaming everywhere on August 4th. This summer, we will make an announcement once the distributor announces all the platforms. But we will have a red carpet premiere. We're aiming to have it on August 2nd. Do not quote me on that just yet, because we have to deliver all these materials that is correspondent to the theater standards. And we 99% there towards the theater standards. But once we have that, I'll make an announcement everywhere and it will be public where the premiere will be, where people can come on in person at the theater and watch it, or if not, they can watch it August 4th on streaming platforms. And for more information, they can go to our website at www.heirofthewitch.com. There we'll make all the announcement and everything that's happening with Heir of the Witch, and even moving forward, what we'll be doing with the next projects.
Ooh, all right, there you go. You got a website to check it out and keep in touch with you. So, Victoriabell, we want to say thank you so much for spending a little time, and best of luck and congratulations on the completion of Heir of the Witch.
Thank you so much. Thank you for providing a platform to help filmmakers and indie filmmakers to spread the word, because it's so much work on our part. And it's really hard when we put our heads down and work and do the writing in lonely, long nights, and nobody knows and nobody pays attention. But only in moments like this, when somebody comes and says, hey, let's talk about it. How was your journey? How did you make this movie? Only then we're able to actually speak from our hearts and say, how was the process? And I'm grateful for you that you open your platform for all of us filmmakers to speak and to tell our deepest love for film.
We're on that internet thingy at sharepollution.com.
A very special thanks to Victoriabell for spending a little time here in the Sherpa Screening Room. Make sure you are checking out her movie, Heir of the Witch it's called, and she's got a website, heirofthewitch.com, that you can get all sorts